Hello. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how you can invest into the international markets because many people came to me and asked this question. So I thought, let's shoot a video on this. All right. So stay tuned till the end of this video and you will get a complete clarity on why and how you should be investing into the international markets. Okay. So let me share my mind map and I'll explain you. This is my mind map and this is what I'm going to cover. Why to invest? Is it legal? What are the brokers? Tax implications, charges, and how much we can invest. Alright, so let's see one by one. So why to invest? First of all, so we should be investing into the stock market because into the international market because it comprises of tech giants, and not just tech giants, in fact global giants. Most of the Fortune 500 companies are located abroad. Okay, and you get a chance to participate into companies listed into any stock exchange in the world like Facebook, Google, Alibaba, Disney. You can participate into any of these companies. They can be listed anywhere into the world, right? So you get a wide spectrum of the market in front of you. So that's number one reason. Second reason is the bigger market size, right? The market size is way much bigger than what you would get if you just do the domestic transactions, domestic trading. All right. So that is the reason that many people are doing international investment these days. So people who belong to the tech industry, like they work in IT, they prefer to invest into companies who are into technology, right? And most of the tech giants, they are abroad. So it makes sense to invest in those companies which you understand really well and who have very strong fundamentals, right? So that was why to invest. Let's move on to, is it legal? Okay, so it is very much legal. Okay, and it has certain conditions. So first of all, the transactions have to be very clean. Like there should not be any shady transaction, there should not be any black money involved, there should not be any hawala. So the money trail has to be established very clearly, the source of the funds, why you are doing the remittance, and where it is going. So everything has to be clearly established, and if there is no shady deal in this, then definitely there is no objection by the authorities or the banks. Okay, however, I just want to make it one thing very clear: margin account is not allowed. Okay, so what margin account is? It is basically a kind of account where you get extra leverage by the broker. So even if you don't have enough cash in your account to enter into transaction, the broker will provide you that particular extra cash. Okay, after certain conditions. So there are some limitations associated with that. So that is called margin account. For Indians, it is not allowed to do a margin trading in abroad exchanges. So make sure when you are opening your account with any broker for doing international transactions, then you should not be having any margin account. Okay, and this whole thing is covered under this thing called liberalized remittance scheme, LRS, by the government of India. Okay, so you can have more details on this liberalized remittance scheme and see what it talks about. All right, now let's move on to the next point, which is brokers. What are the different brokers you can use to be able to trade into these markets? Okay, so nowadays there are so many brokers available into the market. You can go with there are many brokers available into India also, like Kotak Securities, HDFC. They also provide you facility to do international transactions. However, I'm giving you options of the most popular brokers available which are used worldwide. Okay, so there are three brokers mainly I would suggest. One is Interactive Brokers, second Tastyworks, and third Think or Swim, which is also called TD Ameritrade. All right, you can open account in these. They will ask some details from you, some passport, your PAN card, address proof, and few other details, and within few days your account will be ready. All right, next move on to the tax implications. What are different tax implications? Okay, So when it comes to tax implications, we have two things. One is capital gains tax. So whatever profit you make over 1 lakh in a year, that comes under capital gains tax, and that too if you have holded the stocks for 1 year and you have sold them after a year, okay, then it's called long-term capital gains tax, LTCG. Okay, there is a tax on short-term capital gains also, but this rule is applicable whether you are doing investment into India or you are doing investment into abroad. This rule does not change. You still have to pay taxes. Second, many people think that because we are doing investment into abroad market, let's say I have invested into a US company and I made some profit on that particular stock. So then, do I need to pay taxes to the US authorities also when I sell my shares? So the answer is no, because US and India, they have a direct tax avoidance agreement, DTAA, and because of this you will be liable to pay taxes only in one country. Okay, and you would have heard of this term called FATCA. Okay, which even many mutual funds are applying that. So basically it is just an agreement between the Indian authorities and the US authorities or any other country authorities that the tax will be levied only in one country where you are a citizen. Okay, so now India has this agreement with almost all other countries, major countries in the world, wherever there are good number of transactions happening by the Indians. Alright, so that is regarding the tax implications. Now let's move on to the other point, which is charges. What are different charges that we need to incur when we are doing international transactions like this? So there are three kinds of charges mainly. One is the currency conversion charge from bank. So when you transfer your INR to a US dollar or any other currency, so then the bank charges some currency conversion charges, right? So it's not fixed, it depends on bank to bank, but it is not a huge amount. It is certain percentage, maybe it's 1.5% or 1% or something like that. Okay. Transaction fees. So what is the transaction fee? So when you are using a broker, let's say you are using IBKR for doing a trade. So whatever trades that you are doing using that broker will charge a certain commission, which is basically kind of, you can say, service fees or transaction fees. And the third kind of charges that you will have to pay is the dormancy fee. So it is not applicable to all the brokers. In IBKR, it charges you $10 per month as a dormancy fees if you have not done any trade. So and your account is lying dormant, so then it charges $10. But if it is active, then it recovers this $10 from the commissions that it is getting through those trades, through those transactions that you are making. Okay. So that was about charges, and now let's move on to the last thing here, how much we can invest. Okay, so there is a limit which is $250,000 a year. So this is the limit that we can do the investment into the international market. All right, beyond this it is not allowed. So in Indian currency, according to the current transaction exchange rate, it is about 1.5 crores, right? And I think that is good enough for most of the people. All right. So these were some of the points which I wanted to talk about when it comes to doing investment into the international market, because many people had this doubt how we can participate into the international market. All right. So after this, I hope you got some clarity on how you can participate into the international market and what are some of the restrictions and some conditions associated with that. All right. So I hope this video was useful, and stay tuned for some more videos in the future. Till then, take care. Bye bye.